Good morning, students. So today I'm going to discuss with you all is a new topic, new chapter, that is the reason which we have already discussed in the previous classes also. I have already introduced the topic to you people, so we will further move on with the chapter. Okay, so in the previous class that I have already discussed described the term reason. Okay, now here also a short introduction of the topic. So specific, what is the reason, is the specific geographic area which shares the same homogeneous characteristics, okay, like the climate, vegetation and the human activities. Understood? Now for example, if you see place A and place B, these are two different places. Okay, two different places. Now the thing is that the area which falls within this place A, okay, and the area which falls within this place B, okay, will have the same kind of characteristics within. Okay, means the places of A will have the same characteristics like climate, vegetation and human activities, and the places of B will have the same characteristics like the climate, vegetation, human activities. Understood? But if we compare the place A and place B, if we compare these two places, then we will find a vast difference between these two different places. Okay, now again one more important thing is that the border in between the place A and place B, okay, always the border, okay, will have a, the access to place B as well as the place A also. So this area is also can be called as a diffusion area or the intermingle areas. Okay, because in this area you will find the characteristics of both A also as well as B also. Understood? So this is a short introduction to the topic reason. Okay, now why we have different types of reason on the earth's surface? Now for that it's a very simple one, is the due to the angle or the inclination of the earth axis also. Okay, another one is the rays which we receive, okay, or the earth surface receive. Now the equatorial areas receives the direct rays of the sun. Now when we move away from the equator towards the poles, okay, when we move away from the equator towards the poles, what will happen is the like the temperature will start, the temperature will differs, isn't it? Because the direct rays which is falling on the equator will have higher temperature, and as we move from the equator towards the poles, the rays become indirect or slanting. As a result, the temperature drops. So with the drop of temperature, the climate is changing. With the change in climate, the vegetation will also change, and with the change in all those factors, the human adaptation will also change. Understood? So because of the inclination of the earth axis as well as the revolution of the earth, and due to the rays of the sun also, or the rays which we receive, there is the direct and the indirect rays of the sun also, these are the three different factors which led to the formation of different regions on the earth surface. Okay, now there are 8 major regions are present on the earth's surface, but here we are going to mainly focus only on the 3 regions as per the reduced syllabus of the council. Okay, so here the 3 different regions that we are going to discuss is the equatorial region, the tropical grassland region and the tropical desert. Am I clear? So in this two different sorry in this the 3 different regions, okay, the equatorial regions are completely different from the tropical grasslands. The climate, the human adaptation, vegetation, it's totally different from tropical grasslands. Okay, and the grasslands and equatorial region, again, they have vast differences in the like characteristics from the tropical desert areas. Okay, so main focus which we will be doing on the like this reasons are the location, the area, the climatic condition, the vegetation and the human adaptation of this particular region. So first we will begin with the equatorial areas. Now equatorial areas, since the name suggests equatorial, means it will definitely lies near the equatorial areas, isn't it? So the location of the this tropical area or the equatorial region is the 5-degree north to 5-degree south, from 5-degree north to 5-degree south in and around the equator. Okay, and the area which falls on the, or the countries which falls over here is as follows. So in South America, it is Amazon basin. In Africa, it is Zaire basin. Okay, and in Asia, it is Malaysia and Indonesia, which experience or which falls in the equatorial region. Now let us discuss the climate of this area. Now the first point, as you can see, this area receives the more or less direct rays of the sun throughout the year. Throughout the year, more or less, it receives the direct rays of the sun. So definitely the temperature will be high, okay, throughout the year, and the average temperature of this place is 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, now the range of temperature is also very low. Now range of temperature means highest temperature minus lowest temperature. Okay, now supposingly if the temperature, the highest temperature recorded in this area is your 32 degrees Celsius, okay, and the lowest temperature recorded is 30 degree Celsius. So if we take the difference between these two temperature is only 2 degrees Celsius. So 2 degrees Celsius is the range of temperature of the equatorial area. So it is very, very low. Some other places, if you see, that range of temperature is very high. In the continental areas, if you see, the summer temperature will be recorded around. So in the continental areas, the temperature, range of temperature will be very high. The summer temperature recorded can be of 40 degrees Celsius, and the winter temperature recorded of the 5 degrees Celsius also. So the range of temperature in between the summer and the winters will be 35 degrees Celsius. Okay, but those kinds of conditions will not be there in the equatorial areas. Okay, because throughout the year it will receive the direct rays of the sun, more or less direct rays of the sun throughout the year. So there is very less range of temperature. Okay, let's continue with the climatic conditions. So here, no seasonal variation. Okay, now since it will be receiving the direct rays of the sun throughout the year, we see very minimum effect in the change of season also. Okay, there is no summer and there is no winter season in the equatorial areas. Throughout the year it will experience the same kind of climatic condition, and that is the hot and the wet type of climatic condition. Okay, now the hot and the wet type of climatic condition, as we okay, so hot and wet type of climatic condition. Now hot, as it receives the direct rays of the sun, the average temperature is of 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, now wet is because this area receives the rainfall, which is very heavy rainfall, and the average rainfall which falls on this area is around 200 centimeter of rainfall, that too throughout the year. Okay, throughout the year it receives the same amount of rainfall, and the rainfall which like occurs in this area is of convectional type of rainfall. Now what is convectional type of rainfall? So convectional type of rainfall means like during the daytime it receives the direct rays of the sun, so with that the evaporation in this area is also very high. So high amount of evaporation will result in high amount of humidity, isn't it? Now high humidity will result in the formation of clouds. Condensation process will take place. With that the cloud formation will also take place. Okay, so by the evening time what happens is this area will receive rainfall. Understood? Because throughout the day evaporation rate is very high, so the clouds will get saturated very rapidly. Okay, and as a result at the evening it receives rainfall. So because of this characteristic, okay, this rainfall is also termed as 4 o'clock rainfall. Now 4 o'clock rainfall because it occurs in the evening time, and this rainfall is also accompanied with the thunderstorm as well as violent wind or the strong winds. Okay, so it is also accompanied with the thunderstorm, lightning, and the strong and the violent winds. Okay, now let's discuss the vegetation of the equatorial areas. Now since this area have high temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and a heavy rainfall of 200 centimeter of rainfall, so definitely this area is going to have evergreen type of forest. So it is also termed as tropical rainforest, or it is also known as selvas. Okay, so the characteristics of the evergreen rainforest is, as you can see over here, as I've mentioned, 3 D's. Okay, three D's, that is dark, dense and damp. Okay, so these are the three different characteristics of the evergreen forest. So here, now why this forest is dark? The reason behind that is this areas or this forest has very tall trees. The leaves are very broad, okay, and they have very thick canopy also. Now tall trees, it can grows up to 50 to 60 meter in height. Okay, so as you can see over here, I have drawn a small diagram also over here. The canopy, the thick canopy, okay, the trees which are present over here in the equatorial areas, they are in a layer system. Okay, in a layering systems are present over here. Taller trees, medium height trees, short trees, okay, and the grasses or the climbers, creepers which are present at the beneath. Okay, so here because of the the trees over here, they why they are very tall is like always they are in a competition with each other. Okay, they want to grow taller so that they can get more amount of sunlight. Okay, so because of the the dense structure of this forest or the thick canopy of this forest, okay, the sun rays is not able to penetrate the forest properly. As a result, the the undergrowth or the underneath the forest, okay, because of the absence of sunlight, this forest remains dark even during the daytime. Okay, now the undergrowth of this forest are also very dense, makes this forest impenetrable sometimes in some of the areas. Okay, so because of the thick undergrowth, presence of climbers, creepers, okay, shrubs, herbs, so because of that, this forest is also very dense. Now another thing is the damp. Now since the evergreen forest is present over here and with the leaves are very broad, okay, as a result the rate of transpiration is also very high. That is the release of water vapor from the plants or the trees. Okay, that is also very high in those area. Okay, so because of the high amount of transpiration, the humidity present in that area is also very high, and moreover high amount of evaporation also takes place in this region. Okay, so as a result this area remains damp throughout the year. So these are the characteristics of the evergreen forest which is found in the equatorial areas. Okay, now let's talk about the human adaptation in these areas. Now the human adaptation in this area, since the forests are so dense, okay, the adaptation or the habitation is very less in those area. Basically we find is the tribal people, some of the like pygmies which are found in the Jaria basin of Africa, and some of the Indian tribes, okay, which are found in the Amazon basin, that American Indians, okay, so they are found in the Amazon basin. Okay, and some of the nomadic tribes are also present over here. Okay, and they do agriculture, but that also a very primitive method of agriculture which is also known as shifting agriculture, and in other way it is also known as slash and burn technique. Okay, now slash and burn means like they will select a plot of area first, they will clear off the forest, they will burn down that plot of area, and they will cultivate the crops over there for certain period of time. Okay, until and unless the land loses its fertility, and when the land loses its fertility, they will abandon the land and they will move to the another plot of the forest. So that is known as shifting agriculture. Okay, now nowadays, okay, even the European colonial empire also, or the colonial rule, okay, nowadays they have also started clearing of the forest, and they also have started a new agriculture, that is the plantations. Okay, like tea, coffee, those plantations are found, or the tea, coffee plantations, or tobacco, banana, okay, those plantations are done. So this was the characteristics of the equatorial type of climatic region.